Right now on the phone we have our Bruins correspondent and expert, Cody Boynes. Cody.
Joe, how you doing? When did I become a Bruins correspondent and expert?
I don't know. I just made it sound good.
Hey,
these guys talk about Star Wars compared to the Patriots and Star Wars. So next to me here, Keith. So I don't know what to say. I could have called you, Darth Vader, I guess.
Oh, man.
Hey, what'd you think of the big signing?
Well, Lucic, 3 years. I mean, this is the upside with this kid's unbelievable. I mean, this is only his second year, and he's only going to get better and whatnot. I mean, the kid can, the kid can hit, the kid can fight.
Love the guy.
He's going to score goals and whatnot. And I mean, if you're a Bruins fan, this is exactly the kind of Cam Neely type guy that you love. So I think it's a good move because, like I said, let's keep this guy here right where he belongs.
Well, it's kind of interesting, too, because the GM and the head coach of the Bruins both went on their way to say, hey, we don't mind paying certain guys money if they're, if they perform. Obviously taking a shot at Kessel there.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously Lucic wants to be here, and you usually don't really see that guy take too many nights off.
No.
So, and if he's hurt, it's usually because, the way he plays and whatnot. So, no, like I said, I think it's an excellent signing. I mean, this is a guy that, last year with the Bruins, I mean, they could have sent him back to juniors after 10 games, decided to keep him up here, and certainly was a good move. And like I said, and he's still a young kid, and like I said, he's only going to get better. So I think it's an excellent move. Plus, if you watch the game Saturday night, you saw him beat up somebody else again, so that's always nice to see.
Yeah, he did.
You love those fights, Ralph.
Well, I'll tell you, they were pretty listless, obviously, in the opener. You get a little bit, there's 81 games after that. Let's not, go crazy here. But on the Saturday night game, you figured they were going to be up for Carolina after the playoffs last year. And then you basically saw, him and Sean Thornton, basically going back out after former Bruin Andrew Alberts. And, pummeling both those guys. The other thing that was great about the game the other night, too, was the simple fact they had 7 goals from 7 different guys.
Yep.
So, like I said, and when they play Washington 4 times last year. They scored 8 goals with Kessel in the lineup for some of those games. And they've just always had a hard time against Washington, and not to mention Ovechkin's the best player in the league.
Who'll step up in place of Kessel?
Well, it's going to have to be a combination of a bunch. I mean, obviously Sturm's back. Hopefully he can stay healthy and whatnot. But it's going to have to be a combination of guys. It really is. So, but I think, like I said, I think they'll be fine and whatnot. So like I said, and if the guy didn't want to be here, then you know what? Then get rid of him. And here's the thing too. I mean, they get rid of Kessel and they get these draft picks. Well, the thing is, if Toronto ends up finishing last here, they end up getting a draft pick right now that they're talking about the fact that there's a guy out there right now who might even be better than Crosby or Ovechkin. And this is possibly a guy that they might be able to get a year or two down the line with their draft picks. Right now, Toronto's 0-3. So you can rest assured when the Bruins play them that they'll be up against those guys. And at this point, just keep rooting for Toronto to play hard because the worse they play, the better our draft pick is.
No, we're early in the season, Cody, but trying to see who you think that sleeper player may be this season for the Bruins.
Well, they seem to kind of think it might be Blake Wheeler. Last year he played pretty well, but then I think they sat him a couple of games in the playoffs and whatnot. So, that they seem to think he's put on about 10, 15 pounds. He's going to be a little bit stronger around the net and whatnot. So, hopefully that, like I said, I thought he played pretty well last year. Might have got a little bit nervous with the playoffs, so that's understandable with a rookie guy and whatnot. But, for me, that might be my sleeper at this point. I mean, I certainly hope this kid, and that's a guy that really wanted to come here last year, could have signed with Phoenix, decided he really wanted to come to the Bruins. And, and certainly for a rookie year, I thought he played pretty well. So, they got the Ducks coming in tomorrow night. That'll be rough and tumble, to say the least. The Ducks haven't won, which means they'll want to fight even more. In the last 2 years in the NHL, if you follow the hockey fights as I do, Anaheim basically leads the league every year in fighting majors. So I'm sure that won't be any different tomorrow night.
Hey, Cody, what do you think about Tuukka Rask? You think he could challenge Tim Thomas at any point? Maybe not this year?
No, probably not this year. I mean, I think he's going to play more games, and, I'd like to see him play about 25 games, maybe like a 55-25 split. But I think this kid can definitely play.
Yeah.
And like I said with Thomas, and, you never know with an injury. Somebody goes down. I really think this kid, though, can step in. I had a quick question. I know Joe called me the hockey expert, which I had a chuckle when he said it. But does anybody know where Manny Fernandez is now?
Overseas, I believe. I'm not sure.
I was going to say, because I don't think an NHL club signed him. which is too bad because, he didn't have the worst year. I mean, the first half of last year, you could have made the argument, him and Thomas could have been all-stars. Yeah. But like I said, you just don't see him at all this year. Yeah, maybe he is overseas. I don't think anything can sign him, which is kind of surprising because you figured somebody might have grabbed him.
Cody, I gotta let you go. I'm running out of time here, but
no problem, Joe. I'll talk to you guys next week.
All right.
Take care.
And on our way out here, hopefully they can put up the graphic of the two events we have coming up on sports page that we'll be attending this November, I believe it is. Can we put that on there? Thanks. I'm Joe O'Neill for Keith and Hayes.
Marcel Smith.
Thanks for... No, I know. I was just letting you say it yourself.
You want me to say it?
Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this rather Star Wars episode of Sports Page. May the Force be with you. Good night, everybody.
I want to be the Emperor.